Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. We have a quorum present with Council members McKenzie, Karn, and Arnold present. So at this time, I will call the meeting to order at 7:32 p.m. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our invocation is being handled by Chaplain Stewart this evening.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
Evening.
Let us pray. Most Holy Father, we come into your presence to offer thanksgiving for all of the blessings that you have provided. Thank you for everyone present this evening and online as they show concern for the well-being of our city. Thank you for government that is provided for the people and led by the people. Bless this council and provide clear reception as they make decisions for our city. Thank you that they work as a team focused on one College Park. May your hands of love continue to be upon them and the staff of this great city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda? Mr. Hawthorne?
Nothing from staff.
Anything from the body?
I've got some additions. City Manager, I got your email. So those two back on the agenda now?
No, you would need to add them, Councilman Karn.
Okay, well, let's go on and add them back on those two. And I think there was one additional one.
What are those two, council member?
I have to find that email. One was, let's see. Hold on. I sent this to,
I could help you.
okay. All right. Yeah, you got them?
And I think
All right.
the first one, which is a motion to approve the development of hotel, motel, multifamily lighting standards. I'm not sure what that one is. The second one, I think we've already started to set up meetings, but it's a motion to approve bi-monthly multifamily task force meetings. And did you mean bi-monthly?
Same as before.
Say it again?
So same as before.
Is it bi-monthly or bi-weekly?
This by week.
Every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
That'd be bi-monthly.
Same bi-monthly, same as before.
Or bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly would be twice a week.
Say it again, Mayor?
Bi-weekly would be twice a week.
It's bi-monthly. Yeah. Same as what we were having before. There was one additional one. That just slipped my mind. Sales impact. Oh,
Just say every 2 weeks.
right. The other add-on I wanted to discuss, we wanted to look at, did we have impact fees was the first one, was that right? Or that was not the first one?
No, lighting.
Okay, the lighting.
Standards.
Impact fees. I wanted to initiate on an impact fee study. That was the third item. So we're going to discuss that.
Any other amendments?
Oh, actually, one more. Water contract for the 7 acres there with the Flint River deal.
Discussion of the MARTA contract with,
Contract with the City of College Park and MARTA.
The IGA.
Yes. I think that's it.
okay, so 8M, as in Mary, would be development of hotel, motel, multifamily lighting standards. 8N, a motion to approve bi-monthly multifamily task force meetings. 8O, discussion of impact fees. 8P, discussion of contract with MARTA and the City of College Park. Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Item 4A is approval of the regular session minutes from January 2nd. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion?
There was a correction that needs to be made.
Councilman Arnold, could you speak up a little bit, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, very.
There's a correction that needs to be made on item J. We were missing Ms. Leanne Lee Flynn for CPMSA.
Which packet page is that? On the bottom right-hand corner. So
Packet page 24.
I have another correction. In the minutes, when we just present that Councilwomen Jamel McKenzie with the E, just like this is incorrect as well, but it should be spelled woman. So if you took it from this, but it should be Jamel woman with an A instead of an E.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
aware of that.
yeah, okay.
Anything else?
it still hasn't been corrected.
It hasn't been corrected.
I think that was it.
Okay. All right. All those in favor with the changes noted by Councilmembers Arnold and McKenzie?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Item 4B is approval of the workshop session minutes from January 2nd. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous as well. Item 4C is the approval of special call meeting minutes from September 27th, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
So Councilmembers Carn and Gay voted in favor. Councilmembers McKenzie and Arnold abstained. The motion passes. Item 4D is the approval of the special called meeting minutes from January 5th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous as well. We will move on to remarks of citizens. Ms. Ames, can you let people
Yes.
know
The first
parameters?
person I had to sign in is Millie Gosh. Thank you. 2348 Ruby Avenue. Topic of discussion not listed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Millie Gosh, and I am,
Can you move?
oh, yes.
Here we go.
I'm a business owner on Main Street, 3383 Main Street. Mine's the art studio. I also live on Rugby Avenue. I've lived here for 12 years, and I love College Park. And first, I just want to thank you guys so much for the time that you put in, the effort, being councilmen, councilwomen. That has not gone without notice because it is just probably a 24/7, all day long, takes time away from your personal, your family, maybe some business. So I just thank you very much. So what brings me here, I just got back in town and things were just going so fast. And on the heels of some disturbing no quorums in December, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how important this little community is to us as citizens. And, you know, change is always kind of nerve-wracking, and maybe I just don't feel like I've had the meeting or the explanation, so if you guys can offer any explanation, I understand that there's going to be a parliamentary change that was brought up on the 2nd, and now maybe it's going to be discussed again, which could change the format where the mayor would not be hosting the meeting. So I just don't understand. I'd like to know that a little bit more. So going forward, I just want to ask that when you make decisions for this sweet little town, I want you to do it without hatred, without racism, without ego, without corruption, and without self-promotion. Because the citizens of College Park deserve honesty and fairness in their governance. And we're going to be watching just to make sure we understand. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ames.
Thank you.
Next, I have Betsy Eastman, 1833 Rugby Avenue. Topic of discussion not listed.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for allowing the citizens to speak at these meetings. I want to echo Millie Gosh's comments about thanking you for your work, because two of you are just starting this process of taking on the challenges of running this city, and certainly it will take a lot of effort to be involved and to be responsive to us as citizens, and we certainly appreciate that when we do hear back from you. I am speaking in opposition to the ordinance to amend the parliamentary procedure that was raised on January 2nd. In that meeting, I don't understand. We've been running our meetings here in College Park for years with having a mayor running them, and I don't understand why you suddenly feel this need to change that process when I've attended the meetings. I've tried to attend more regularly recently, but in the 17 years I've been here, I've never seen a situation where the meetings could not be run fairly and efficiently. And what I've seen with our mayor is that she does follow procedure. She tries to move it along efficiently. She is polite, she is fair, and yet many times she is overspoken as she is trying to administer the meeting in a proper and correct way. So as I say, I feel like it appears to be petty politics. And we just don't really need to have room for that in this city. We've got a lot of things going on, a lot of questions about how we're spending our money and things like that. But tonight, my concern is how we are treating each other on this council with respect. And I ask for you to change your minds on this ordinance and to think about what all of us want as citizens in this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ames.
Next, I have Tina Hill, 3515 Parkview Drive. Topic of discussion, communication, trees, and general.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Quite a subject line. I'm going to start off with the trees, okay? Unfortunately, last week we had a gentleman in Jonesboro who died. A tree fell on him when he drove to work. The other day, I always notice, because we have so many dead trees that the city owns, and they're very tall with a lot of dead weeds all over them. And when they do fall, who's responsible? But bigger than that, who's going to get killed or who's going to lose a home? I actually spoke to my councilperson, Mackenzie, and gave her 2 examples that I saw driving within 3 blocks of my home where it's just not safe. And I don't know if that's a line item in the budget. I don't know what department is in charge of that, or if that's something that the city has ever done before, but I definitely would like the council to take a look at that. Second thing is communication. I was here last meeting and talked about the same thing, a little bit different, because I'm looking forward to hearing your responses somehow, whether it's through a department head or on a new tab on that website that needs to be updated. But quality and clarity is so clear. It's so needed, right? It's not clear. The first of the year, I came to a personal swearing in, and on the flyer was the wrong date. So there were people who didn't even come because the wrong date was on there, and that was put out. Actually, I think on Facebook, we use Facebook so much, and it's unfortunate, because we need a calendar that people can really participate in our community. Push Push had an opening. Where was that advertised? The police had coffee with citizens. I saw pictures, but unless you hit Facebook at just the right time, you're missing out. I'm not a big Facebook person except to put some wonderful positives out there, right? But what about people who don't have the internet? We need to remember all the department heads, council, mayor, sit where people are, sit with people, understand that not everybody has the same access, or the same abilities. We should not be advertising things only on Facebook. We used to do it in the utility bill, and as much as I'm an environmentalist, that utility bill goes to everybody. So it's a great way to put dates out there, reminders for everybody, especially like emergency numbers when you guys are when departments are closed. Lastly, I'm gonna voice a concern that is probably going to divide a lot of people, but it's a concern. I'm on the old mail list for our old retired councilperson, Ambrose Clay. Love Ambrose, he served well. He's going to keep his Clay on Council website, and I replied to him immediately because I think that's a disservice to new people coming into the community. He's not Clay on Council anymore, and I asked him, please change the name. We don't need to keep dividing people. Could I just ask for someone's 30 seconds?
Motion that we give her
Absolutely.
at
Finish.
the time she
Thank
needs.
you.
Wait.
I just think it's
Hold on,
something.
wait, hold on 1 second. There was a motion made to Councilmember McKenzie. What was the motion?
To give Tina Hill the time that she needs to finish what she's saying.
And there was a second from Councilmember Carn.
I second it.
Okay. All right. Any,
That's not something we have to motion and second for. If we want to hear more from residents and let them finish their thoughts, someone can just say it.
All those
Doesn't
in
require
favor?
an act of Congress for that.
all those in
Aye.
favor?
And we never
Thank you.
had to
That's
vote on
unanimous.
that before at all.
Please go right ahead.
Thank you very much.
This is part of the communication issues. It's a perfect example.
Thank you. So it's a concern. We have an election, it's done. We have to move forward. I know there's people upset about Robert's rules and what happened. It is what it is. I hate to say it like that. It is what it is. Mayor, you have a new website, mayorbianca.com. And my concern, I don't think we need a rehash of thoughts of a meeting. We have to come together and work. It is time for College Park to get 6 West developed. We need to help people. We have people who are cold tonight. We have people with no heat. We have big concerns in our city. We have to put this petty crap aside. So that's my concern. People are going to hate me if they want to. I don't really care at this point. I really feel like with this whole thing with Clay on council is not on council. God bless him, but stop. You're not on council. Mayor, please, I know you're upset. Please, let's be fair on the website. I think we have to, give council some credit. They had a great first meeting, and there's such synergy and energy. We are going to move the city forward, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for the extra time.
Thank you. Ms.
Thank you,
Ames?
thank you,
Next.
Tina.
Next, I have Stephanie Jones, 1824 Cambridge Avenue. Topic of discussion not listed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My message to you tonight is I believe the mayor's ability to share her knowledge and insights on city business is a critical element of our continued success. I implore you not to be short-sighted, but to have and to think about the future of this great city and acknowledge all of the voices that can make it great. And I ask that you consider this as part of your consideration of the change to parliamentary procedures. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Ms. Ames?
Okay, next I'm moving on to the email comments. The first comment comes from Wendy Tenery, and it reads, as a very concerned citizen of College Park, I'm appalled at the lack of teamwork the city council members have demonstrated thus far. Councilwoman McKenzie cited Robert Rules of Orders to silence Mayor Motley Broom. In my research, I found that Robert's Rules of Order is recommended to be used in groups larger than 12. In small groups, it is imperative that the mayor must have a voice in order to present a fair and balanced argument. In accepting elected office, council members take on themselves to the duty of care. This means that they are obliged to exercise due diligence and to become as fully informed as they are able to able about the issues at hand. To refuse to listen means that the council members are demonstrating negligence and bad faith. Also, it is stated that each item presented for consideration is entitled to a full and free debate. Each person speaks once until everyone has an opportunity to speak. So with that said, how does council group together 10 agenda items for one vote without discussion? It seems very shady and unethical. The city of College Park elected our mayor twice, and it wasn't for her exceptional ability to chair council meetings. It was because we honor and respect her. We choose her to represent our values and act in our best interests. Please let her do just that. Thank you for your time. The next comment is from Sarita Kelly, and it reads, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm Sarita Kelly King, residing on York Road in the mighty Ward 4. I want to address my concerns about Mayor Motley Broom and her friends rallying people to create chaos due to their opposition to the changes happening this year with the new council. It's time to accept the outcome. The people have spoken, and the people have elected representatives whom we trust. There was no rallying in the past 4 years, and you, the previous council, voted collectively. The majority in this city has been undeserved tremendously since the departure of the late Longino. Change is challenging and uncomfortable, and those smart, strong black men who lost their jobs or were forced to resign during your tenure may agree. This is the new College Park, and the majority supports it. If you don't, you can step down and allow someone else to take their reins instead of you causing chaos for the next 4 years, because we, the majority, are honestly sick and tired of the shenanigans. It is time to give up. For the next 4 years, all are about to change in unity. The pain hits differently when you have to sit in it, and that is all you and your neighbors can do at this point. Congratulations, Councilman Gay, on your election to Mayor Pro Tem, and congratulations to the entire city of College Park. We have finally achieved the unity we've been praying for. Allow these individuals the full responsibilities they were elected for, and refrain from obstructing their process due to personal vendettas. To the new council, maintain your morale and stand united. Have a great evening and stay safe. The next comment is from Demetrius Taylor, and it reads, "I am Demetrius Taylor, 16-year resident of Embarcadero Club Apartments in Ward 2, and as I will continue to say, I am not the voice of the people, I am the people. First, I would like to commend Mayor Motley Broom for establishing the Mayor Bianca Bulletin as a direct response to my inquiry about mayor and council actually answering the questions posed during council meetings by the citizenry. In addition, Councilwoman McKenzie has also created her platform, the One Ward One Facebook page, where she has already begun addressing the concerns citizens have about the ongoing city council. Thank you, ladies, for your concerned efforts of being communicative with us. It is my hope that the others will follow suit, and I trust that it's all in a matter of time. Footnote, Councilwoman McKenzie, thank you for explaining why the council voted the way they did on the operational procedures for the council. For far too long, we have been operating haphazardly, and now that we have a new administration, I believe this is what is needed to put things in proper order. Secondly, I have deep concerns about the High Tower project. Where is it? We have had a groundbreaking ceremony a year and a half ago, if not 2, and there's nothing to show us that this project is in development. It is my understanding that he has been granted several extensions, but what is going on with the land? What was the contingency in the contract for the city if the land was not developed in a certain amount of time? In addition to the High Tower project, what is to become of the old Target site? I know the owners of the land is under heavy scrutiny by the citizenry, but the land is now sitting with no plans or coming soon signs anywhere. Are we conducting any due diligence with our landowners to make sure they are compliant with their contracts? Thank you, CPPD and CPFD, for the warming center. With this onset of inclement weather, we appreciate your efforts. I'm asking that we make sure that all of these new unhoused citizens that are making their home along the downtown streets are being directed there. I am aware that there is a tent on the lawn of the church by the permission, I am told, of someone who is unhoused, and the church is doing all they can to assist him. But I'm also seeing a few people sleeping on the benches, even the ground across from the MARTA and on its property. I guess my greater question becomes, has the city made aware of the new additions to the community and what is being put in place to expedite a plan of action to keep this from becoming an issue? Congratulations to our new sergeant, Sergeant P. I'm going to misspell his name. You have been a shining example on the force and a true gentleman, yet a force to be reckoned with. You are committed to excellence and you take pride in your work. Your accolades are well-deserved, and I salute you in your endeavors. Looking forward to the day you become captain so I can say I knew you win. LOL. That's it. I should be at my 3-minute mark. Thank you for your time. Okay, the next comment is from Barbara McKee, and it reads, due to the weather, please share this with Mayor and Council. Councilwoman McKenzie has been working with me and my organization for many years. When I was down with many medical issues back in 2017, Councilwoman McKenzie did not hesitate to come to me and pray with me. Not only praying, but what she could do in the community to continue my work. I have to say she is doing and still serving the people in College Park. Not just certain individuals, but all who live in College Park and the surrounding areas. I do know she has the community best interests on her heart, and Councilwoman McKenzie, I believe, will continue to work her hardest for the betterment of the city. I just want the mayor, council, and citizens of College Park to know that Councilwoman McKenzie will do her very best as unto the Lord. Pastor Barbara McKee. My next comment is from Diane Claps, and it reads, the public should receive a transcript of any meeting that the city council members have with Stream Realty or anyone else regarding 6 West. Thank you, Diane Claps. My final comment is from Catherine and Dominique. I'm sorry, it's from Katie, and it reads, my name is Katie, and I live on Hemp Hill Street. I have been horrified watching this new council try to silence our mayor and change the structure of our government just days into starting this new year. The mayor was reelected by the majority of the city, which means that the vast majority of people were happy with her leadership. Now, rather than start this year off right by focusing on what you all can do for the residents of the city, the very first things you have decided your time is better spent on is targeting a woman whom you don't seem to like. Further, the way that the men move on council choose to speak to our mayor reeks of misogyny and blatant disrespect. Moreover, the disrespect you all have shown to the residents of the city is alarming. Calling a special call meeting that lasted less than 10 minutes and wasting a whole lot of people's time was one of the more upsetting things I have seen from this council. You are 2 weeks in and you need to do better. Please stop trying to silence our mayor and please stop disrespecting and wasting the time of the citizens of College Park. I have no other comments.
Thank you, Ms. Ames. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak, they can approach at this time.
Good evening, Sabrina Willis.
Rex Willis, 1927, John Calvin. Good evening.
Evening.
First, I want to say congratulations, Councilman Roger Gay, for a long time coming. I know, so you deserve it, and so congratulations on Mayor Pro Tem, okay? I don't want to come up here and attack the mayor or anyone or any citizen, but I do have to say, where were you 4 years ago when things were said about Jack Longino and how he was treated? I didn't see any of you all coming up here. I didn't come up here complaining myself about about the mayor. We lost. I accepted it. When the new administration comes in, things change. And that's what's going on. If they wasn't allowed legally to do it, they could not do it. Okay, so let's first get that off the table. Jamel worked very hard to get to her, campaign to win her race. So did Tracy, so did Pam, so did James, and so did the mayor. Some won, some lost. But to come up and say that attacking the mayor, come on guys, be for real. And about being disrespectful. Jesus Christ, how the mayor did Councilman Gay. He was getting a little radical at times, I said. And he should, way he was being treated. And you don't talk about Councilman Corn. She'll say, I got the gavel, want to cut him off. He had to raise his voice and go back and forth to finally she'll allow him, or he will keep pushing to say what he want to say. I've been here 45 years. I've been involved in the city. I have 17 grandkids that I have raised in the city, 8 kids in the city. I run a successful business, run a nonprofit. And like I said before, things changed. When Bianca did things that she did to Sabrina, I didn't come up here in every council meeting raising hell, complaining about it. I didn't. I could have. I had a right to. But I moved on for the betterment of the city and this community. So I do want the mayor, the council, to get along and do the best thing for the city. We do have a lot of things going on with 6 West. The citizens need assistance and help. Employees need to be taken care of. So all those things are very important. But don't keep coming up here, oh, you want to bash the mayor, oh, you want to take this away from the mayor. She was very comfortable when she was treating Roger like she was doing. Sitting back, I got the gavel. Councilman. And then Ken, who I supported. So it ain't about being racist, who I supported, Ambrose. They would just vote and move on because they had the votes. So guess what? Now it's different. She don't have the votes. It ain't nobody being mean or vindictive. She just don't have the votes. So if they being vindictive, that means she was being vindictive. That means Kim was being vindictive. Ambrose was being vindictive when they was voting the way they were. If I'm saying something wrong, please correct me. So what I want to say is, let all us move forward and get along the best we can. We don't have to love each other, but do the best thing for this community, for this city. And please, don't even want to come and talk about racism. It was so doggone hard for me to come up, and when they was talking about racism, and all the people's coming up, talking about how Joe was so racist, and good God Almighty. Fact, the mayor 4 years ago, she didn't want to be recognized as the first African American woman. She wanted to be recognized as the first woman. I know, I heard her with my own ears, and no problem. But now she has found her sisterhood, and that's fine too. But when you act one way, and then you switch another, how do people know which way direction you want to go? I don't need to come up and lie, make up things about Bianca Broom. I don't. But she is the mayor. She should be respected. I got 5 daughters. So all women should be respected. Even though all the things I know she have done and continue doing and backdooring, that's, like I said, we moving on from that. I'm not going to discuss it anymore when I come up here. But Jamel, I want you to do the best for Ward 1. I live in Ward 1. My kids, some of them live in Ward 1, my grandkids. Joe, same thing with you.
Thank you. Is that 6 minutes?
No,
Yes, it's 6.
All right.
well, no, I got a couple more minutes. I mean, one,
Hold
I'll
on.
be
There
done.
hasn't been a motion made to extend your time.
Please finish
So
your thought.
If there's a motion to extend the time, go right ahead. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. All
And
those
then-
in favor?
And I do want to say this, guys.
Hold on 1 second. Let me just get the vote. All
Okay.
those in favor?
I do want to say this.
Thank you.
Do you all know back, you want to say about parliamentary, how things was? All this wasn't going on back when Jack was the mayor. Oh, you got a motion. So you want to talk about things changing? Bianca changed that. I didn't see any of you all cry or raise hell about that. So that's what she instituted. And she wanted to, and you want to say about other changes to Joe's fault and fault. If you didn't sign in before 7 o'clock and get here, you wouldn't be able to even come up here. So don't tell me about, making changes. She did. Mayor, you did. And she'll be able to go right up there and just gather the paper, come on back, and we'll let people speak if they didn't get here before 7 o'clock and sign in. So that was a change. So I just want us to talk about being fair. Let's be fair. Be fair to give these ladies and these gentlemen a chance and opportunity to do their job. Then in a couple months down the line, they ain't doing it, then okay, you have a right. We pay taxes. All of us do. Sopranos pay a heck of a lot of taxes here in this city. So give them a chance. You can give it or not, they're still going forward. So I don't want to, like I said before, Mayor, I'm not going to come up here anymore. I'm not, no matter what's being said. I don't have to say anything about you, your past, your actions, but it just drives me crazy when I have people say all this, and I know better. Ken Allen, who sits back there, he knows better. He ain't gonna get up and say, "Oh, Rex, you lying." No, he knows better. Ambrose knows better. These are white men, so I ain't talking about no prejudice. They know better. And she's a black woman. And I know better. So I'm not going to, honest to goodness, you would not hear me as a citizen come up anymore and address anything about the mayor for her past actions. Now, but I'm going to hold her accountable. Same thing with Councilwoman McKenzie, Councilman Carn, Councilman Arnold, and Councilman Gay. And somebody said something, I want to say this, I'm done. I don't need to come down here and get patted on the back. I'm nobody's boy. Not one of these, honest to goodness, asked me to come up and speak. I said the same thing to Stanley, Winston, Bianca, Joe, Tracy, Roderick, Jamel, as I will the Pope. So I look up to one person, that's Almighty God. So I'm done, but I do want us to get moving in the betterment of the city, whatever that takes. And I do appreciate all the hard work that y'all did to get to where we are to this day, and to see you all sitting up there. Because I remember coming in here over 30-something years ago. They used to make in jokes right there. So we have came a long way, a heck of a long way. But it just don't take African Americans. It take Latinos, Caucasians. It take all of us to come together and unite to make things work. So that's what I pray, and that's what I hope to see. And if it don't, I'm gonna come up like these other citizens. Councilman McKenzie, what's going on? So thank you for your time, and thank you, Mayor, for giving me a couple more minutes. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Ames? Oh, I'm sorry. Does anyone, how much time do we have left?
5 minutes.
Does anyone else wish to speak? You can come down at this time. Seeing none others, we will move forward. We have an appointment for Ward 2 to the College Park Main Street Association. Councilmember Carn?
I appoint Mrs. Valerie Lee, was it Miss Valerie?
And is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous. And 6B is the official bank depository. I believe Ms. Fleur Bradley is leading this discussion.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do have representatives from Truist Bank. I have Charlene Craig and Ron Austin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you tonight? We appreciate you.
Aye.
Appreciate you letting us come today. Wanted to see if anybody had any questions or anything. We appreciate so much the long tenured partnership we have with the city, and we continue to want to be your partner and do what's best for the citizens of the city. And so happy to answer any questions or anything anyone has.
All right, we'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
No questions.
Councilmember Carr.
All right, great to have you on board as usual.
Thank you.
We missed you at the last meeting. I did bring it up. I'm glad you're here at this meeting. You guys have been a great partner with us. We want to continue that partnership. We're also going to honor our commitment to a significant portion of our funds going into an African American bank.
Yes, sir.
And we're glad that you are for that and sharing with that. So
Very much
it's
so.
a great thing, and I think we're actually going to close on that this year.
Okay, good.
All right.
We're excited about that, and we are in full support of that. As you know, one of our heritage banks, we help fund the first African-American bank within the state. So we're very, very, very supportive of that.
Councilmember Arnold.
No comments, no questions.
Councilmember Gay.
Ma'am, the only question I would have, if we vote on this tonight, if we do find a bank that meets the criteria of municipal deposits, does this have to change? I mean, are we set with this dollar amount, or should our motion include the difference?
We're fine, and we're supportive of what you guys have already voted on, and if you needed to vote again, that's okay too.
You was gonna say something, Ms. Bradley?
Yes, there's no minimum amount as far as that we have to have placed in the Truist Bank, just as long as we have enough funding for our cash flow as far as the payments and cash receipts. So there's no minimum amount, correct?
And one other thing, I know that our two new councilmen have not had the opportunity. I was able to meet both of you earlier. Thank you and welcome again. And I wanted to be able to introduce my team leader, Ron Austin, who runs our not-for-profit and government group at Truist.
Good evening. I'm glad to be here with all of you. Thank you for the faith you have in us and for the relationship. We truly appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right, any further questions, Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carr.
We'd be looking, so are you new to the team, or have you always been there?
No, he was here last year.
He was here, okay. All right.
Our Joe Arnold, who you guys knew for many years and all, he actually retired in 2021, and Ron took the opportunity to become our team lead at that time. Ron's been with Truist, the Heritage SunTrust side, for over 35 years.
All right, well, I'd love to get a chance, maybe we sit down with you and talk about some of the community initiatives that you're doing in other cities and see if we can implement some new stuff for us too. So,
Would welcome that opportunity.
now, are you at this branch here, or are you just regional?
My office is actually downtown, so
Okay.
I'm close by.
All right, close enough. Okay, so we have your information as well?
Yes.
Out there? All right, well, let's set something up soon where we could talk about, give us an overview of the kind of things you're doing
Absolutely.
in other areas. All right.
Councilmember Arnold.
No comments, no questions.
Councilmember Gay.
Mayor, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Truist Bank as the city official bank depository for calendar year 2024 with the consideration that agreed upon percentage shall be deposited in African American bank or community bank.
Second.
Okay. All right, so Councilmember Gay's made the motion, Councilmember McKenzie's made a second. Madam Clerk, do you have the full motion?
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion? Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Councilmember Arnold? Councilmember Gay?
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
All right, item 7A is a motion to approve a conditional use permit for a Type 2 home occupation for an arts and crafts studio at 1579 Vesta Avenue.
This is a public hearing, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Deborah Rogoff Ezra, the city
Deborah.
planner. Try to keep this fairly short. I am putting before you consideration of approval for a petition for a conditional use permit for a Type 2 home occupation, which will be an arts and crafts studio. According to Division 4, Section 3.7 of the code, a conditional use permit is required for this type of use in order to consider any potential impacts to the surrounding community, the circulation, and there are 20 specific items which I reviewed and were put forth in front of the Planning Commission to also consider to make sure that there's no impact as far as employees, noise, traffic, multiple items which I can go into specifics of each one, or we can get into, it's all in your package anyway. The applicant is Lalisa Alita Anderson. She's been a resident for many years. She lives at 1579 Vesta Avenue, and it's an R3 zone in Ward 1. She's proposing an addition on the second floor, which will be a 600 square foot studio and a covered porch, which is 160 square feet, and then a small extension to the main building. The total is 979 square feet. But the intent of the conditional use permit is for the use itself. At this point, the improvements to the existing structure and the additions will be considered as part of a building application at a later time, but she has to have the conditional use permit to be able to occupy the studio and conduct her arts and crafts, which is her lifelong passion. And in your packet, there are some examples of her artwork, just in case you wanted to take a look at that. It will have an exterior staircase, but everything is consistent with surrounding uses. The architecture will blend seamlessly with the existing structure. The setbacks and all of the standards are met for development within this zone, so there were no need for any variances. There are 3 or 4 important aspects of this. First of all, there will be no employees, which is one of the main items that we look at when we're looking at the Type 2 conditional use permit for home occupation. There will not be any sale or public coming into the studio. All of her artwork will either be sold online or she will be presenting it at art fairs, hopefully art fairs in the city, and different across the Atlanta region. So she's hoping to have booths or kiosks and present her art there, then she can sell it online. But she's not going to have foot traffic going in and out. There are not going to be any employees, so there will be no difference in the use of the home. She's the only person who will be working on this. Should there be any need at any time for police or fire, there are 6 parking spaces available in the front of the unit, so there's no impact or safety issues as far as that goes. She will not be using any kind of caustic materials, flames, gaskets, kilns, anything that could create any kind of a safety issue. The Only materials that she basically uses, and she may correct me, are acrylic paints, maybe pen and inks, things that would be found in any second grader's kit of art supplies, basically. So there won't be any impacts to the surrounding uses. Her neighbors are in support of her request. I believe there are 5 or 6 letters in the package from her neighbors supporting this. They know that this is, after she has worked for years and years and years as a private consultant with a type 1 home occupation permit, that this is her retirement goal, and she will now be pursuing her live stream. So they are in support. They came to the Planning Commission meeting and provided their support. So did her architect, who I'm not sure if he's also here tonight. Lolita somewhere out here. But he also was there, and he is also a neighbor. So she does have a lot of support for this. And one of the things that I did want to mention specifically is that this does actually contribute to, let me see what number it is, number 13. It identifies the relationship of the proposed use to neighboring areas in the context of how the use might service or have utility to the area. This also supports goal number 2 of the city's strategic plan under the quality of life goal. Item number 2.4 that increases participation in community activities, including conferences, recreations, arts, crafts, festivals, and cultural experiences. So in all, the Planning Commission and my recommendation as city planner was to recommend approval of the conditional use permit, type 2, for this arts and crafts studio.
Thank you, Ms. Rogoff.
Okay.
We will go ahead and open the public hearing at this time. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter can approach. All right, seeing no comments, the public hearing is closed. We'll start with any comments or questions with Councilmember McKenzie.
I don't have any questions. My questions have been answered. I read the packet. I also am an artist that paints, and I want to commend Ms. Anderson for pursuing her passion at this time. And I just want to say I think it's amazing and wonderful what she's doing. I've looked at some of her artwork, and it's wonderful to have her in our community, and specifically in my ward. And that's all I have to say.
Councilmember Carn?
No questions.
Councilmember Arnold.
Thank you for presenting very thorough information. The information in the packet was detailed, and I appreciated seeing the art that was going to be made. Yeah, I liked it. Thank you.
Councilmember Gay?
No questions.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8A is a motion to approve the IGA with Business and Industrial Development Authority as approved by council and amended by BIDA. Is there a motion? Hearing none, that fails. It fails to move on lack of a motion. Item 8B is consideration and action on ordinance 2024-01 to amend certain sections in Chapter 2 relating to parliamentary procedures for city council meetings and proclamations. Is there a motion?
Motion with discussion.
All right, hold on. There's a motion by Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. All right, go ahead with your discussion.
So, City Attorney, I know there was a slight change there, and I don't know if that one was in my packet, but I know I got some. I did get something electronically, so I want to make sure we're on the same page there, right? Okay, all right.
Any further discussion? Councilmember McKenzie?
So basically, we're approving what was sent to us by the city attorney earlier. Yeah, okay, thank you. Nope, that's it.
All right, Councilmember Arnold?
No questions.
Councilmember Gay?
No questions.
All right. I do not believe this ordinance is fully valid, enforceable, or constitutional, and I would incorporate by reference and restate my continuing objections to the omnibus motion and this ordinance that I incorporated at the special called meeting on January 5th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. We'll move on to item 8C. Motion to approve a Healthy Initiative Program developed by the Fulton County Board of Health and the O'Donnell Marketing Group for the Healthy Looks Good on You campaign. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Any further discussion? Councilmember McKenzie.
Nothing.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay?
No, I just wanted to reiterate that you contact the CVS Health for potential funding, that you reach out to Morehouse School of Medicine, the Occupational Health and Environmental Medicine Division, and what was the third one? What was the third?
No, you only had two.
Only two?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes, on two.
thank you, clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Item D is a motion to approve the master services agreement with Hinderleiter Delamas and Associates for hotel and motel tax administration. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Any discussion? Councilmember McKenzie.
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous. Item 8E is a motion to extend on-call and general engineering services contract with Prime Engineering and authorize a purchase order and budget allocation in the amount of $110,000. Is there a motion? There is no motion, so that fails, and so we'll move on to item 8F.
Dean, hold on. I have some comments.
Hold on, Councilmember, we need to have a motion before we have
Well, we don't
discussion.
have a motion. I have comments again, and I'm going
Councilmember.
to speak my comments.
Councilmember, we're
Dean,
following Robert's
couple of
rules.
questions.
Hold on, Councilmember, I would ask that if there's
I
a
have
motion.
comments on that item.
Councilmember, there's a.
Okay, so motion to deny.
Okay, all right, thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Go right ahead with your discussion.
Again, this is why we're having to make changes so that we can communicate effectively. This is exactly why. And so, Dean, I understand, the need is here. At the last meeting, I asked that about William Moore coming in to do some consulting, to do an overview in terms of what we needed. Before we commit to any contract, another contract, I definitely want to get an assessment. So we're going to look at it at some other time. Thank you.
Councilmember McKenzie, any comment?
No comment.
Councilmember Arnold?
No comment.
Councilmember Gay?
No comment.
All those in favor to deny?
Aye.
That is unanimous. Item 8F is a motion to award an annual contract renewal to Collier's Real Estate Management Services for the continued management of the FAA Federal Regional Facilities located at 1701 Columbia Avenue in the amount of $119,700 for the contract period of January 1st through December 31st, 2024. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
I do have a substitute motion.
What is that motion, sir?
Well, what I'd like to do is put this out for an RFP, and, Colliers is welcome to definitely bid on that, but I want to take a look and see what else is out there. So I want to get that out on the street as soon as possible. Is purchasing here, City Manager?
Healthy is here.
So there is a motion to submit an RFP, to issue an RFP for management of the FAA building. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay.
Also,
Go ahead.
I guess Althea, in terms of financially, Now, Ron, I know you're still there, and so I guess we pro rata something monthly until we, till we get that RFP out and make a decision on it. Is
Yes, it would pretty much be month to month
All right.
to month.
okay. Well, we get with purchasing to get that out as soon as possible, and we want to, see what we get back.
Councilmember McKenzie, any?
No, just my vote will speak for myself.
Councilmember Arnold?
No comment.
Councilmember Gay?
No comment.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That motion to issue an RFP for management at the FAA building passes. Item 8G is a motion to approve the 2024 state legislative priorities for the city of College Park. Is there a motion?
I've got some discussion, but
Is there a, we.
So
discussion.
moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie.
With
Is there a second?
discussion.
Yes, there's always discussion. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Councilmember McKenzie, go right ahead.
No, I basically, with this, the main thing is that this can be accepted, but not with the number one. So I think it's important that we remove the local option sales tax. I think that's something that we don't need to tread on. We already have all of our other cities working on these type of things, and this is a relationship that we have with Fulton County. So that's my thought on the matter.
Councilmember Carn?
I've got a couple of issues. Is Peachtree, are they here?
They are here. I have Janelle Adams and Tyler Moore here. Could you repeat?
I can't hear you, but I guess they can introduce themselves.
I have Janelle Adams and Tyler Moore here from the Peachtree Group Relations.
Well, I've got a couple of issues here. I don't need to say I wasn't in support of re-upping with you all, and I'm assuming you know the reasons why from last year's debacle. But we are where we are. What I'm not happy about is what I heard went on with some of our state legislators. I got a couple of calls about you all basically attempting to force a meeting that they did not want to have. Now, we were previously scheduled for a meeting with our delegation sometime in December.
Yes, sir.
Now, my understanding is also that they said due to holiday scheduling that they could not do it in December, and we're going to schedule it for sometime in January or so. I got a call from two legislators that said they got a call from you all saying, well, the mayor wants to have this meeting in December. And they reiterated, I guess, that they weren't available in December. And then I was told that the government relations person insisted again that they have this meeting. It was a young lady, so I'm assuming that was either Jamel or Laura. Was it you or was it the other young lady?
I spoke with Representative Schofield about a meeting during the legislative special session that all your delegation would be down at the Capitol. So I spoke with them about having a meeting, inviting all of the council members, the previous council, and mayor down to meet with the delegation.
Okay, question. After they sent us correspondence that they were not available in December, who instructed you to go back and insist that we have a meeting in December?
I want you to know that I did not insist. I just asked if we could still move forward.
Well, that's not what I heard, and that's not what I was told by our representatives. So that was not warranted. That was not something that this body would have wanted done. Now, if the mayor instructed you to do that, and that's an if, which I suspect is what happened, because I don't think you just got it on your own to insist that they have the meeting when they said they could not schedule the meeting. So somebody had to urge you to do that. I'm going to ask again.
I went at the instruction of my boss to go speak with Representative Schofield.
So this was Don Bola's decision?
If you want to ask him more questions, you can ask him offline. He's not here tonight.
Well, I heard you loud and clear. You went by the instructions of your boss. All right, that answers my question. I'm not happy with your performance. I don't want to be embarrassed from my lobbying firm and the state legislature have issues and concerns with you all. Lobbying is about having good relationships and keeping them with our representatives, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're not off to a good start for the beginning of this year. And I'm not happy about it. So we're going to revisit what we're doing with you all as well as your contract at some point or another, because I'm not a fan of it at this point.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Councilmember Arnold?
Just the same comment that was made earlier in reference to, I think that we're voting on the change that was given to us earlier. Okay. All right, that's all I want to confirm.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Gay?
I just have a request and a comment.
Yes, sir.
My son was a page last year. Can you all look at, I don't know if you can, but can you see our delegate, our representative, who, what kids can serve as their page and coordinate that through our clerk, and we put it out on our website?
Yes, sir. I'll find out who exactly your state rep is for your household, and we'll work with their office to get your son signed up to page.
Not my son.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My son already was a page. He graduated. I'm talking about other kids in our city.
Oh, yes,
who
sir.
may not be familiar with the legislative process.
Yes, sir. We can provide all that information to you that you can
Or to the
disseminate to
clerk.
your constituents.
To the clerk.
Sure.
She's gonna let our communication director know how to maybe contact their representatives or their parents to see if they can participate, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the legislative priorities pass. Item H is a motion to approve resolution number 21 for the City of College Park's revised application for the Fulton County Community Development Block Grant 3-year funding grant application for park and facility improvements. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn.
Now,
We'll start with discussion with Councilmember McKenzie.
I have no discussion.
Councilmember Carn?
Thank you, Michelle.
I believe we had an issue with the park makeup. Councilwoman Arnold, I know you mentioned that, so I guess you're gonna speak on that.
Yeah.
All right.
I wanted to get more information in reference to Zuck Park. And I see that, I saw the comment that Zuck Park was being removed from the list because of it being in the floodplain.
Correct. That is correct. So we initially put in for Phillips Park and Zuck Park, and the environmental came back within a flood zone and wetlands. So
Does that then mean that because it's in a floodplain that it can't be upgraded? I mean,
it just can't, it wouldn't be eligible for this grant. HUD will not, they can put it out for advertisement, but Fulton County does not like, they want the project to move quickly. And we thought we had updated those floodplains and that we could put it back in, but the process would be longer. So we can look for other grant funding or even just budget funding, because Zuck Park is on my list to update the playground. So it is not going to be part of the CDBG for the 3-year funding, but I am looking for additional funding, whether I put it in for a budget for next year or in the next funding cycle somewhere else in another grant. But it is Phillips Park and Zuck Park. All the park upgrades are what I'd like to get done with the next 5 years, if not sooner.
okay, and do we have any funding, or do we have any grants that are already in the pipeline where we can address Zuck Park?
Not currently. CDBG is what I've been doing for the past several years for the park improvements.
Okay, so
It would be part of budget is what I would look for and get with finance. And we have discussed on how we're going to work hopefully to get that done.
oh, we already have a plan with the city manager, with finance?
It is on my capital improvements plan.
Okay, and where is that in the
That was
pipeline?
something we pulled together as department heads to bring up. We were looking for the 5-year plans for improvements.
During the budget process.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is on the list. So it is a priority.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
Those were my questions.
Councilmember Gay?
I just have a question, Ms. Director Johnson, and a comment for our new colleagues. I want to let you guys know that for years, the CDBG has required a 20% match, okay? We've been told that for years, and when we got ready to build the splash pad, the only condition for my colleagues to vote on it is that there was a 20% match, of which they didn't vote on. So what I want to tell you is that we were able to talk with Fulton County, and because there were services that our city do, such as lighting, sewer, those services were considered in kind. So that's a tremendous savings that we did for the CDBG grant. I want to put that on the record. And two, you had mentioned that CDBG requires you to fund a full park, another park besides Phillips, and
So the resolution is for an alternate park, and so we were looking at Evans, the seating and restrooms. So that was what we were looking for that third year funding for.
I don't know where Evans is. Where is
The baseball field, next to the football field.
Well, that may not be
Hold on 1 second.
what we want to allocate for in terms of an alternate or additional park. So
Okay, wait,
is that
hold on,
locked in stone?
Councilmember Carn, hold on 1 second. Let's let Councilmember Gay finish, and then I'll come back to you.
I mean, he's talking along the lines of what I was saying. Maybe this body needs to determine what the third part should be. That's all I was going to say.
So it would need to meet the environmental requirements too.
Ma'am?
So when we did the application, we did a resolution prior that included those three, the Phillips Park and Zup Park, and that was approved. But when they did the environmental for Zup Park, it came back, and so this is the resolution for an alternate. So if there's something different, it has to meet those environmental also.
No, I was saying not Zup, because you were explaining about the wetlands.
But for
that was
Evans.
a problem with the splash pad. I was just saying, maybe they need to also decide on if they want to use the third park as Evans or another park. There's some more parks. We got Brandon, and we have Councilman Carr.
Well, I wanted to know what the timeline was in terms of for submitting an environmental. I'm speaking on an additional park that is yet to be created. Now, the land is there, so do you just need an environmental for the land, soil testing, whatever have you? Is that basically it?
So I would need to check with Fulton County. We put in the application that was approved originally. They did the environmental for Zup, and it did not because of the wetlands and the flood. So we gave an alternate of Evans. They've already done the environmental, so they want the resolution for agreement for what we're looking to fund.
Well, I wish I would have known what the alternate was. I don't think that came back to us for an alternate choice. I guess you
That's
guys-
what the resolution is here for this evening.
Okay, so is it interchangeable? Can we swap out for another piece of property or not?
It would need to be able to be something that we are ready to roll on, because it's a 3-year funding, and they'll give it out on based on
So we need to be ready to roll on it within 3 years?
I don't know if that has to be approved environmental when the application's done.
All right, well, how soon could you find out tomorrow?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Okay,
Is there a site that you have in mind that,
well, we're looking at some sites. I think we do have some in mind, and we're gonna, kind of follow up with you on that. But I guess my question is, now obviously I don't want to derail the CBG funding.
Correct,
So
correct.
tonight won't derail it if we table it to take a look at another site.
yes, so
That's what I'm asking.
we're talking with Kim at Benjamin, and, we can certainly say with it being the third year, does it have, I would just need to check with them, because they normally do the environmental, and HUD approves that and brings it back to Fulton County for our approval.
So there's no type of a deadline tonight that would stop
No, this was
anything
just
from
part of
moving
the application process that has already passed. It was actually due prior, but we've, had some delays on.
Okay, you're saying no, this won't hold it up, or it will? Because it sounds like you said no, and then it sounded like you said,
They need the resolution as part of the application. The application deadline was at the end of the last year.
okay, so we're already late.
Correct. But the environmental, we put it in, but the environmental came back, so they wanted to update with the alternate.
So how much extended time do we get? Since
I
the
just told them it
environmental
was going to be
kicked
on
back?
for approval for this, it was on the agenda, to be presented to y'all.
Is there a deadline on that? Is not approving it tonight and approving it at the next meeting with an alternate site okay?
I don't think there would be an issue. I'm sure I can talk to Fulton County.
Okay.
May I weigh in? I worked extensively with the last CDBG. There's no way they're going to approve a site that is not already a park for this particular funding. That's mostly for existing parks. We can look at some additional funding.
They want it to roll. They want us ready and prepared, and we do a great job at doing
My
that.
initial question was, did they want to choose another park that's existing?
So, it has to meet those guidelines within the low to moderate, so I don't know, that's why I was asking if there's a site that would be helpful.
Well, the baseball field is great for me.
No, it was based on the low to moderate with the CDBG, the requirements for it.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Gay. Is there a second?
I'm sorry.
I thought we already did that.
We already have
Yep,
a motion.
thank you.
We couldn't be
Thank you
discussing
very
it if
much.
we hadn't had a motion.
Thank you very much.
We're just voting.
All right.
No, we already have all in favor?
Wait, hold on, no, wait, no. Any further discussion? Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carn?
No, Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilmember Arnold? Councilmember Gay?
No, but I'm excited to know where you want to put this other part. We can't have enough green space.
Amen.
All right, all those in
I'd
favor?
like to hear that.
Aye.
Wonderful.
Thank you, that is unanimous. Item 8I is a motion to approve the Fulton County Arts and Culture Municipality Support Funds grant application for up to $50,000 for cultural arts programming. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Carn. Any discussion? Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carn?
Nope.
Councilmember Arnold? No. Councilmember Gay?
Yes, where's that earmarked for? Which event?
So I put him in as if there was a breakdown of all the events, Black History, community film events, community music, Juneteenth, specific heritage celebrations, Light Up College Park, Tinsel Trail, and the senior programming and performances. So it's an overview of pretty much all of our cultural arts, but there are specific requirements that have to meet for those, for that reimbursement. And I'm hoping for the $50,000 this year. It was 34
That'd be
last year.
great.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right. Any further discussion, Councilmember McKenzie?
No, I'm just excited about it.
thank you.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That is unanimous. Item 8J is a motion to approve sewer credits totaling $25,863.41 to various commercial accounts. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Is there a second? Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Discussion, Councilmember McKenzie?
No discussion.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Hugh,
That-
did
that
you
is unanimous.
Did you have anything? Or
That was my item.
I'm saying, but nothing, no detail.
comment.
Okay, good. All right. All right.
All right, there's a motion to approve the voting delegate for the Electric Cities of Georgia.
The resolution.
I'm sorry, the voting delegate resolution. Is there a motion?
Well, I'll make them, I'll motion. It's me.
Okay,
All right, second.
Councilmember McKenzie moved.
Second.
Councilmember Carn seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Council. I'm sorry?
I said no.
All right. Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that is unanimous as well. There is a motion to approve 2 invoices for flock safety in the amount of $48,000. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember McKenzie, seconded. Any discussion, Councilmember McKenzie?
No.
Councilmember Carn?
No.
Councilmember Arnold? Councilmember Gay?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That is unanimous. Item 8M is the development of hotel, motel, multifamily lighting standards.
Hugh, I guess this is something I want us to work on. I think we had a brief conversation over the phone about it. You know what we're looking for essentially? A big part of public safety is lighting and adequate lighting. And some of our apartments in particular, as well as our motels, have lighting that is just too dim and too, I guess, crime prone or whatever you want to call it. I've looked at other apartment complexes that have excellent lighting, and I want to go out at one evening and kind of identify some of the better lighting situations on private property and some of the worst. So we want to assess, and you have your expertise and come back with that assessment. We want to set a standard for all apartments and motels and the like to have decent, adequate amount of lighting in terms of public safety. So that's the idea. We'll come back with the results, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah. As soon as possible. As soon as possible.
Discussion, Councilmember McKenzie?
No, I just totally agree. I mean, when we moved into the Link subdivision, well, actually, the Links was being built, we worked, we worked on that lighting. And the lighting makes so much of a difference in averting crime. So I definitely believe that we need to do this study and get that. That will hopefully help our crime stats.
Councilmember Arnold?
No, I think that we should do this. We should do this study. We should make sure that we have adequate lighting for safety and security of the residents.
Councilmember Gay?
I'm a little bit out of order, but speaking of lighting, at the BIDA meeting, they talked about the mural under the bridge going to Virginia Avenue. There's some GDOT lights, and I had recommended that you look at if you could brighten that area up.
I can talk to you about that. This is not on the agenda, but I can talk to you about it on site. Okay.
All right. So there's consensus to move forward on staff bringing that back?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So we'll move on to item 8N, which is a motion to approve bi-monthly multifamily task force meetings. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. Discussion, Councilmember McKenzie?
No, I just agree it needs to be done.
Councilmember Carr?
This is just a continuation, City Manager, of what we were doing before you got here. Myself and Councilmember Arnold comprise 70% of the multifamily apartments in the community. This is one of our biggest fixes and one of our top priorities. I think that would overall improve the quality of life in this city. It's very important. We want to have the meetings once every 2 weeks. Obviously, we can't have a quorum in there. I will try to attend most of those meetings, Councilmember Arnold or whoever else wants to attend. We're going to crack down on this. We're going to make this an absolute top priority because these standards that we're accepting has been too long, and we're going to definitely make some big changes with ordinances in terms of multifamily decency and standards for human habitation. So,
Councilmember Arnold?
I think that everyone should enjoy where they live. And we do need to set some higher standards to support the quality of life of the residents in these apartments. And I'm looking forward to this committee and for us establishing what our expectations are.
Councilmember Gay?
Well, I don't want to, get in front of it, but I want to make a couple quick comments. During this recent election, the apartment, in my opinion, the apartment owners and apartment managers need to be held accountable. I've never seen a community where 40% of the community is transit with less than, I bet, not even 3% of the voting. This does not make sense to be in a city where you don't participate in something that took us 100 years to have. And I hold these apartment owners and these leasing managers solely responsible. It makes no sense. That's number one. So if we're gonna have a meeting with apartment managers, I hope that getting involved in voting and learning the voting process, and not just College Park, school board, state representatives. That's number one. Number two, we need to get our police back more involved in these apartment communities. The community events is fine. I'm excited about all the wonderful events we go to, but it's turned into community event officers. I want them back in the apartment communities. We used to do welfare checks, rent rolls. We need to get back in these apartments, know these communities, know these people. This city is disconnected from its apartment community. That's what I want to say.
Amen.
Councilmember McKenzie, anything to add?
Nope.
Councilmember Carr?
He ain't lying. We got to do a lot of work. Let's get to it. Top priority, City Manager. Top priority.
Councilmember Arnold?
I support both of those comments.
Councilmember Gay?
No comment.
All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that is unanimous. Item 8O is discussion of impact fees. Councilmember Carr?
Well, essentially, we need to establish some impact fees. Lots of other cities have it. Their guidelines with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs for impact fees. It's nothing new to cities. These fees help provide expanded parks and recreation program funding, fire protection, law enforcement, and road improvements. Those are the primary allowable uses. So we want to put together an impact fee study. I know Mr. Robinson's familiar with it from DeKalb County. Folks, we got to step up to the plate. I mentioned at the last meeting, you know, one thing about a brand new year is that you get to hit the ground running. And I want the residents to know that we are hitting the ground running, and we are serious about improving every aspect of this city, from corner to corner, from neighborhood to neighborhood, and block to block, and we're going to get it done. So this is a big part of that step. City manager, we want to get going with this study and put together a solid impact fee ordinance so we can cover those costs and keep our roads and things up to snuff.
Councilmember McKenzie?
Nothing. No.
Councilmember Arnold?
No comment.
Councilmember Gay?
No comment.
All right, is there consensus to instruct staff to get a study going on impact fees?
No, there is no consensus. I motion for approval of establishing impact fees in this city, not a consensus.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Carn I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, did you get the whole motion?
A motion to establish an impact fee ordinance.
Is that correct?
Well, yeah, implement it and establish it, yeah. Put together, well, we have to do a study first. So we do the study and then establish.
Okay, so the motion is to do the study and establish an ordinance. Got it.
Madam Clerk, could you read the whole motion?
Councilman Carn, motion to establish an impact study and adopt an ordinance. Councilwoman McKenzie seconded.
All right. Any further discussion, Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carn?
I guess you can add fees to that, establish fees, if you want. That's just a nit.
Any further discussion?
No.
Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay?
Yes, please, in that study, look at the impact of the tractor trailers on residential streets and especially the Old National Corridor. I mean, if anybody was to go to Old National and look at the street, they done tore the street up. They done tore all our streets up. And those heavy trucks need to pay or go another way.
I asked for impact fees when I got back in 22. And, well, we're in 24 now, so we're here.
Any further discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous. And item 8P, I will hand over to Mayor Pro Tem to handle discussion of the contract with MARTA and the City of College Park.
Well, actually, this was something I wanted to speak on.
I'm going to let Mayor Pro Tem preside.
Well, I have comments on it.
I understand, but he's running the meeting now.
Since when? You gone, or?
Because I wish to speak on this matter, so Mayor Pro Tem can handle it.
Vote on that. Do we have to vote on that? I think we have to vote on that.
Wait a minute. Okay.
We have to vote on that, Mayor.
I guess what she's saying is that she's not going to preside on this matter.
Right, but we have to vote. We have to vote to allow that. Or
As the chair, I can hand it over.
but doesn't that?
Well, you're still
Winston,
here.
can
You
you help
can't
us,
hand it
please?
over and not
With Robert's
and
Rules of
be
Order.
here.
Can she actually, according to our charter?
She can relinquish the chair.
And I'm relinquishing the chair at this time
Do we
to the
have
Mayor
to
Pro
vote? We
Tem.
have to vote. Okay. All right. All right. Just want to make sure we're following the order.
Mayor Pro Tem, I have comments.
Okay, at this time, is there any comments, starting with you, Chairwoman? You have a comment?
Myself?
Yes, starting with you.
I would like to just to know what we're going to actually be discussing on this. That's really
Okay.
yeah.
Councilmember Carn?
Well, essentially, this is a real estate purchase and sales contract that we executed December 7th. This is with MARTA for a parcel of property up in the corner of the city of College Park. I had issues and concerns with purchasing this property from MARTA. MARTA definitely thought it was in their best interest for us to purchase this property, but I did not think it was necessarily in College Park's best interest to purchase it. This property has restrictions on it. Us buying it means MARTA still has a say in terms of the purposes of the land, and MARTA still has rights to that land in terms of retention ponds and other things that they can do on the land. Our proposal was to build something permanent, but it's kind of hard to build something permanent when MARTA has an option to come in at any time they pretty much see fit. The other issue I had was the location of this. Parks are great, parks are wonderful for communities. I think everyone agrees with that. But there is a much greater need because all of our residents do not have direct access to a full-size park, whereas a lot of our residents do. There are thousands of residents on the south end of town, and I'm talking about the old National Godby Road corridor, that have no access to a full-size park, and they deserve that access. And I'm going to try to make it my business to see to it that everyone gets equal treatment and equal levels of services. So this is not a great deal for us. There is an out clause with this thing in terms of we being the purchaser. We can give written notice that essentially we're not interested, and it's at our sole discretion. Again, it's not the worst project I've seen, but there's a higher and greater need and a much better project that covers our citizens with equity. And that's my proposal for nullifying this contract. City attorney, there's a clause in here, and if there's a consensus, we want you to send notice to let them know we're gonna thanks but no thanks, and look somewhere else for a community park.
Councilwoman, the mayor, she's not.
I wish to be recognized.
Oh, Mayor.
I think the Finding the Flint project is an incredibly important one for our community, and it has been one that has garnered community support since at least, I believe, 2018 at least. And I understand and I concur with Councilmember Carn that we have needs throughout this city for great green space. This location is one that is not dictated by us. It is where the headwaters of the Flint are. And we have an outstanding opportunity to partner with the Atlanta Regional Commission, which has said that they are committed to trying to fund this project to the tune of $150 million throughout the entire network. We have an outstanding opportunity to partner with Aerotropolis, Clayton County, because it's not just about a park. It's about the real issues that those stormwater issues that we are facing, not only in College Park, but downstream. And Clayton County is experiencing some of those challenges every single time we have these massive storms. And we know because of climate change, things are happening at a more frequent rate. We have the chance with Finding the Flint to help mitigate some of those issues downstream. So it's not just about a park. It's about improving our entire environment. And we have, the Clayton County Commissioners are on board. We have the Atlanta Regional Commission on board. We have a number of regional partners that are looking at this and want to support us every step of the way. The one key was we had to own the land. And the council last year said, yes, we want to own the land and we want to move this project forward. So I would urge my colleagues to support that vision because it is one that is in the best interest of the entire community. I recognize that it is not one that is in the old National Godby Road corridor. I absolutely, positively think that we should be working towards greater access to green space across this entire community. bar none. I don't think that means that we abandon this project.
I do have another,
Councilmember Cohen.
I do have another comment, and,
Come right back to you in a second.
oh, all right. All right, pass the gavel.
I do. So I hear what both of my colleagues are saying in reference to, yes, I support 100% us advocating for a park on Godby Road. We need one. It's long overdue. And any monies that we spend when it comes to extra green space, I'm pushing for a park on Godby Road. The families, the children that live on Godby Road, they need a place to go. They've needed a place to go for years. We complain about the activities that we don't want to see on Godby Road, but we don't give the children any type of outlet. There are no recreational programs. There is no park. What else are they supposed to do? And I'm speaking from experience as a parent, raising children, living in an apartment complex. So I understand the importance of us saving the environment. That's important, yes, because we want to leave something to our children. But right now, Godby Road is on fire. And we have to do something about it. And talk is cheap. And right now, that's all that I'm hearing right now. Parents are suffering. Children are going to jail because they don't have anything else to do but to get in trouble. So I don't know that I'm necessarily for spending this money on finding the Flint. Those are my comments.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Last couple of things. This alternative park does save the environment as well. And I understand there are environmental issues. I understand we're dealing with climate change and all of that. So I'm proposing some climate change along one of our most popular corridors and populous corridors. But I'll make y'all a deal. As soon as we establish a full-size community park within walking distance of every one of our neighborhoods, which we almost have now, then let's bring back up the Flint and take a look at it at that point. But right now, I got thousands of children that can't get to a park. And this park is what we need in our community for peace of mind, time for reflection, and all of the other benefits that our other neighbors enjoy, yet some of our neighbors on the south end of town do not enjoy. And we're going to seek the partnerships with Aerotropolis, with Playful Cities USA, and all the partnerships we've done with other parks and community projects. So it's going to be a community park with community partners just like the rest of them, even more so. So I'm excited about it. But this funding, this $218,000 that would have gone towards this is going to go towards, I think, a higher and better use. Not that it's a bad use. But we got to prioritize in this city. And that starts in 2024.
I would like to make a comment and then entertain.
Point of order.
While you're presiding, you may not make a comment. The chair cannot make a comment. So when it's time to vote, you can hand the gavel back to the mayor, the figurative gavel back to the mayor, and then she'll call for a vote. Or you may comment at that time once she's presiding once more.
Okay. That being said, is there a motion?
I make a motion to, I guess, what are we going to decline this contract or take our option on this contract, not to pursue and go any further?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, it would be appropriate for you, if the deliberations are concluded, to pass the gavel back to the mayor, and the mayor will then call for a vote. And at that point, if you have a comment that you would like to make, now that you would not be presiding, it would be appropriate for you at that time to make whatever comment you wanted to make.
So I pass the presiding back to the mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to withdraw from the MARTA contract.
Is there a second?
Second with discussion.
All right. We'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
I know that this is a project that we have been working on for quite some time in the city. However, I'm ambivalent at this moment, and I'm trying to make a determination. I hear from my colleagues the concerns that they have, and there is an unfair balance in our city in terms of recreation facilities, in terms of, I should say, parks. So I'm still making a consideration, and that's all I can really say at this point.
Councilmember Carr?
No more comments.
Councilmember Arnold?
I made my comments earlier.
Councilmember Gay?
The only comment I would like to make is that I absolutely appreciate any conservation of any bodies of water. I want to let my colleagues know that this was before us for a grant for approximately $900,000 through the what was that, water? Well, one of the federal agencies, but we didn't get the grant. So that money from that grant was going to pay for this land. So I brought that to our attention to simply say, if the ARC is looking to fund this project, perhaps MARTA can wait until one of the government, to College Park, and do an IGA with ARC or whomever and purchase this, purchase this parcel. But I do agree with my colleagues that there's an opportunity to look at more green space in more areas that are inadequately in green space at this time.
Councilmember McKenzie, anything else to add?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carr?
You just asked me, still no.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Arnold?
No more comments.
Anything additional, Councilmember Gay?
Did we pay the down payment on December 7th, the 20%, Ms. Finance Director? Did we pay this is a contract I'm holding, it said that we had to pay 20% earnest money. Did we pay that, and can that money be brought back?
We can get it back.
We can get it back?
I'm not sure. I will have to check and look into that. So I can send an update once I contact Winston's office and get with Danielle just to confirm whether or not we actually made a down payment or if there is an escrow account.
Well, and
I'm not sure.
according to the contract, it does say, I'll just read D real quick. In the event purchaser determines in its sole discretion, purchaser, that's us, that the property is not acceptable for purchaser's intended purposes, then purchaser may withdraw from the sales contract by giving written notice to the seller, that's MARTA, on or before the last day of the inspection period, which is somewhere in February. If purchaser withdraws from the sales contract during the inspection period, MARTA shall return the entire earnest money deposit to purchaser.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, any additional comment? Councilmember McKenzie?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Carr?
Nope.
Councilmember Arnold?
No.
Councilmember Gay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. So council members Carr, Arnold, and Gay are in favor, and Councilmember McKenzie is against, and so the motion passes. City Attorney's report.
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
City Manager's report.
Mayor, I'm happy to report that we are now sending out the strategic performance report, which I think was approximately 37 pages across the departments and activities that have been going on over the last 2 weeks. But we are sending that out now, both an abridged version as well as the full report by link to as many of our households as we can reach. And that's it.
All right. Report of Mayor and Council. I wanted to share, I've been selected to the Board of Directors for the National League of Cities, and I'm very excited about the opportunity, and also been selected for one of the 4 board committees, and I'll be on the Board Legislative Action Committee, which is responsible for overseeing the implementation of the lobbying agenda in partnership with the Executive Committee of the National League of Cities and the full board. And so the Legislative Action Committee also serves as a link between the NLC federal advocacy committees and the Board of Directors. So as we move forward with the things that are really important to us, but may not necessarily be within the purview of the state, we do have a voice, and I'm joining council member from Union City, Christina Hobbs, and council member from Fairburn as well, and Councilmember Byron Amos from Atlanta. We are all serving on the National League of Cities Board of Directors in 2024, and I'm certainly looking forward to that work. I've also been spending time last week with the Georgia Municipal Association's EMS Task Force, which is diving into some of the issues that we are seeing in our community regarding EMS service and issues across the state. So we have mayors from communities as diverse as McRae, Helena, Dunwoody, Forsyth. We're all dealing with various issues regarding EMS response times, the amount of time that it takes once EMS takes someone to the hospital, how long they have to stay there before they get back on the road. And so last week we met with the Department of Public Health, the Georgia Department of Public Health, to learn a little bit more about the rules and regulations surrounding EMS service in the various service areas, because each EMS provider basically has a service area within the state. And one of the challenges that we face in College Park is that, and Chief, always correct me if I'm wrong, but unless someone's got a life-threatening emergency, our fire rescue folks cannot transport them. And so that means that we have to stay on site until Grady EMS arrives. And those times have improved. But there are some folks in the legislature, including Senator John Albers, who has proposed Senate Bill 16, which would give us some additional flexibility as a municipality for transport. And that bill was actually submitted last year, but is under reconsideration and has some tweaks to it. And so we will all be keeping very close tabs on that, because it is an issue that impacts not only College Park, but the South Fulton region and the entirety of the state. So it is one I'm grateful to be a part of the conversation on. Last week, had the opportunity to go to the Georgia Chamber's Eggs and Issues breakfast, which is sort of the unofficial kickoff to the legislative session. And there, the governor spoke and talked about his budget, which is proposed to include a doubling of local maintenance improvement grant funds, which is how we do a lot of our paving around here. And so there is never, ever enough money to pave the roads. So this is actually very good news for communities across the state if this passes. There are some other things that the governor has his eyes on, but that one to me, I was like, oh wow, we might be able to get more streets paved. And that is always a concern in our communities, and certainly potholes don't have a party. So let's see if we can get them filled. Looking forward next week to the Georgia Municipal Association Cities United Conference. Cities from all across the state will be here in Atlanta, well, in Atlanta, not here, to meet, confer, learn, train, and then go to the legislature and talk about the concerns and the issues facing cities. We have 536 cities in this great state, and we share a vision about some of the things that need to happen on the state level. So it's a really great day when we go down to the legislature. We all get there and kind of have the opportunity to voice our concerns in a united front. And I also wanted to thank Trainer Dye Compound and Jay Schotz and his team. They did a great Christmas Eve toy giveaway along the Old National Corridor. Had an opportunity to join them. I know that's a little late, but they do this every year to make sure that children and families that are in extended stays in some of the hotels along Old National are blessed with toys and gifts throughout the season. And I want to thank, in particular, our fire rescue department, our police department, for making a really smooth morning of the whole thing. And it was just a great opportunity and a really, really nice morning, because folks certainly weren't expecting it at 8:30 on Christmas Eve, but it was great. So that's all I have. Councilmember McKenzie?
Yeah, I've got a lot right here too. I guess we're going to be long-winded tonight. All right, everybody. This is January 16th, and it is my 16th day of service to public service to the citizens of City of College Park. And I begin my 16-day report with much sorrow. Our College Park Police Department suffered a great loss today. Sergeant Keila Walker was a dedicated member of our College Park PD. She had a heart of gold, and she was truly one of those persons who cared and served from the heart. My prayers and condolences are with the family and the loved ones and our PD, of Sergeant Walker. Gone too soon, but she will never be forgotten. And I ask that you keep our entire PD in your prayers, because we are not okay. January 8th, the FOA group, I joined the FOA group, which is the original African Americans who lived in the area which is now known as 6 West. These are people who were displaced due to urban revitalization and airport expansion. And what this group has done, working with our city staff, we've established Price Barbershop and the home that's located next to it on Harvard Avenue as historical landmarks. We're working on that. And we're also working on the placement of historic markers throughout the 6 West area. I began meeting with this group shortly after Black History Month of last year, realizing that it was impossible to find history on the Black community here in the city of College Park, which has been in existence in this city ever since this city was Manchester in the 1890s. And so I want to thank BIDA for removing this property from our 6 West sales roster, and our city staff for working with Ms. Gloria Abdullah and her executive team to assist with making this possible. And I don't want to name a lot of names because I'll leave them out, but we just want to we moved forward with the project. It was an amazing day. We had residents who actually lived here during that time, and they were descendants, actually finding the homes that they lived in, and we're looking forward for the continuation of that project. This past Sunday, January 14th, I attended the Push Arts drop-in celebration to check out their new venue and their arts campus, which is located at 1805 Harvard Avenue. It was an awesome event with live music, small bites, and opportunity to visit some of the businesses that are going to be located in that complex. I'm totally excited to have Push here in College Park, and I look forward to the future, and just that whole vibe is just amazing of what we're going to have here in our city. Yesterday, College Park participated in the Martin Luther King Parade with the city of Jonesboro. Councilors Arnold and Karn and myself rode in a recreation vehicle and had the opportunity to spend time with community members and elected officials from Clayton County municipalities. It was an awesome way to celebrate the champion of nonviolent social justice, none other than Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I want to thank Brian Anderson for coordinating this effort. Also Lance, Michelle, Jerisa, Farah, Ron. Ron was amazing. I told Michelle I've got to write a letter about him. He was our driver, and he had so much patience. It's not easy sometimes to deal with elected officials, but he was just a gentleman and just amazing. And all the other recreation staff. We also had our dance team there. In addition, I want to shout out to the new Sergeant Anthony Piniagua and Officer Wyatt from our PD for attending and bringing the jumbo screen to the jumbo digital screen that we have to the parade. College Park was well represented, and it was an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to us doing our own event where we can invite cities in the future. On January 7th, I attended the Wild Hog Supper, which is the beginning of our Georgia legislative session, and they have a dinner, and then, yeah, they kill a pig, and they serve pork, and you met with some of our state leaders and other municipal leaders, and that was a very good experience. I also am excited about my Ward 1 leadership. We have started the persons that I've appointed to boards. Mike Lindsay, who is my BZA board appointee, he was sworn in at the January 8th BZA meeting. Ebony Austin, the owner of Nouveau, who is my Main Street Merchants board appointee, she was elected as the vice president of the Main Street Merchants Association at their January 10th meeting. And Lethea Williams, who is my BIDA board member appointee, was elected secretary-treasurer at the January 11th meeting of BIDA. So I'm excited. Sakina Abernathy was supposed to attend her first Keep College Park Beautiful meeting tonight, but it was rescheduled due to the fact that it had been scheduled on a council meeting night. So we're looking forward to her getting started and all of our board members. Last Friday, January 12th, the City of College Park Police Department held a promotion ceremony, and our future is definitely bright. We had some amazing persons who were promoted. Lieutenant Darden and Lieutenant Goss were promoted to the rank of sergeant. They had been officers. They were sergeants. They were promoted from the rank of sergeant. Chief is looking at me now. They were promoted from being sergeants to lieutenants, and they are amazing men. I've had the opportunity to work with them, and that's why I say our future is bright. Sergeant Snow, Sergeant Porgal-Zelensky, I just always say P. Sergeant Jones and Sergeant Piniagua were all promoted from officer to sergeant. And I'm sure that you are familiar with some of these officers. They are they're all men of standard. They serve, they protect. I saw Sergeant Piniagua out there in the parking lot today. We just have amazing police officers, and I just want to thank Chief Rogers for her leadership over the department. I'm looking at my major over there as well. We're just grateful for you, all of our majors, all of our police officers and leadership, because you are the ones that keep us safe, and we appreciate you. I met with Dr. Emanuel to discuss the implementation of curbside recycling for our city, residential for the city, and I want to thank him for the presentation that he made during our workshop session today, and for the research that I requested for him to do, and for Francis Kennedy also getting involved, and so we could see how much this would cost and how it could be financed. I found that curbside recycling is something that's important specifically to my residents, but then as I speak to residents throughout the city, it's something that we would definitely like to consider. And I want to thank my council members also who expressed their interest and willingness to see a program such as this to go forth. I'm also concerned about the trees on Rugby and Washington, and I will be reaching out to staff so we can really make sure that we are safe, because we don't want to see what happened in Jonesboro happen here in College Park. So I will be addressing issues such as that. I've also been driving around and identifying and speaking to neighbors to identify some of the streets that we'd like to have paved in Ward 1 under the grant, and those decisions should hopefully be made within the next few days. During the past 2 weeks, I met with several of our department heads, and I will continue to do that for the remainder of the month of January. I want to get to know the roles of the different department heads and how I can partner with them to achieve the goal of making our city the best that it can be. And so that is one of my priorities for the next 4 weeks until February, to really get to know what I'm doing, what my job is, because I'm learning, and I will continue to learn, but also to be able to see how I can work with our staff to partner with them, not to tell them what to do, but to learn. I will be attending a course, myself, and I won't speak for her, but we will be, I might as well say, Councilwoman Arnold and I will be attending the UGA for the new elected officials class in the next few weeks, and I also will be attending the GMA meeting that the mayor mentioned here in Atlanta. We also have our legislative luncheon at the Capitol, which will be held next week, and I will be in attendance at that. I also want to shout out to our public works, our power staff, and our first responders for your hard work and efficiency during the inclement weather that we've been experiencing over these past few weeks. You have been spot on, and I truly appreciate your work. I will begin my office hours sometime in February after my inauguration, and we will also hold our Ward 1 meeting around that time as well. In the meantime, I plan to meet with our community champions to organize our teams, and that meeting will be held tentatively at Club E on January 27th at 10 o'clock in the morning. I also want to remind everyone that if you'd like to get in contact with me prior to those meetings, you can reach out to me at my email, which is jmckenzie@collegeparkga.com, as well as we have our Facebook page, which is One Ward 1. Our website is www.oneward1.com. Instagram, we just started our Instagram page. We launched that a couple of days ago, and that is the word one, ward, and the number 1. We are getting our email distribution set up. Ask everybody to be patient with me. Councilman Clay is sent out an email to all of the persons on his email distribution asking if you would opt in or actually become, sign up for my email. So as we shift, I just ask that the members of Ward 1 will be patient. You will be receiving correspondence from me, but we also want to get that email distribution together before we send our first correspondence. Finally, I want to strongly encourage members of the community to come to our council meetings or to watch them on our city media with an open mind, and to not rely on hearsay or biased commentaries masked as information and inspiration that are designed to create confusion, division, and unrest in our city regarding the decisions of this council that are being sent to you either by email or posted on any website other than our official College Park City website. What I'm saying is that if you receive stuff even from my website, it's going to be my opinion. But if you want to know the facts, I suggest very strongly that you stick with the city website and that you also look at the meetings yourself. Now, I will post from time to time my opinion on social media and my website, as well as the reasons why I voted as I did on behalf of the greater community of Ward 1 and the city of College Park. But in order to be best informed, one should not rely on even my views alone or anyone else, whether they be a member of this governing body, a neighbor, a friend, or someone outside of our city. But one should rely on and be guided by what you see, what you hear with your own eyes and with your own ears. Every member of this governing body was elected by a majority of the voters in this city to serve and govern in what we believe to be the best interest of the residents and stakeholders of College Park and our employees. And we represent not only those who voted in the last 2 elections, but we represent all 13,000 residents of this city. I, for one, do not take this responsibility lightly. And I may not always be right and get everything right because I am a constant work in progress. And I will not make decisions that please every single person. But know this, at the end of the day, I've exercised wisdom and prayerful thought in my governance, the kind of thought that allows me to sleep peacefully at night and know that I've done my level best daily to represent my constituents. This is day 16, and I've got a lot of days ahead. I love this city, and I'm in this for all of us to win and to thrive together. Let's unite on the wonderful, enormous things that we have in common and shun the egregious temptations to become divided by minuscule deviations designed to separate us and to keep us apart. Let us focus on becoming one Ward 1, and in that, let us press forward to become one College Park. And that's all I have.
Councilmember Carr?
Amen. Boy, I don't have quite that much, but Councilwoman McKenzie, that was I think we're off to a good start. I'm excited about this year, and 16 days in, and we are making progress. But we've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, I always say. And I heard comments from the residents about the last few meetings, and I got positive comments from my community and my neighborhoods in particular. They like the new direction we're going in. They said that we were moving boldly and more decisively. But now we have to work on fixing these problems boldly and decisively as well. And that's what we intend to do. A few things that I do have. Brecca, Mayor mentioned SB 16, John Albert's bill. We want to make sure that's a priority throughout the session. You know, hopefully it's going to happen. Mr. Alberts is a very influential fellow in Fulton County, so we support him 100% on that one. The Wild Hog Supper, it was really great. I got to do some networking, saw a few new faces. I was with several new faces here, councilwomen, and it was a great event as always. Like she said, they killed the pig as they do every year. I think I participated in killing the pig this morning for breakfast. I'm guilty as charged. But yeah, great meeting with FOA as well. We're going to recognize all of our community and all of our community's heritage. There's a lot of heritage in this community that's recognized, but the Black heritage was overlooked in a lot of different ways. And there are dozens of examples. I can give you one. College Park, part of its moniker is the streets are named after Ivy League colleges and universities. And that was done a very long time ago. Only one problem. Black colleges and universities were left out of that equation. And we're going to look at that as well in the near future. We're committed to representing all of College Park, for all of our residents. The MLK Parade was really great. It was a great event. The weather was pretty good, all things considered. A couple of things. Chief Rogers, great event. The induction ceremony. You got a good roster of new folks coming on board. I feel really good about that. I know we talked about the NFT tags, and we're going to be still going up to Alpharetta to take a look at those, right? Okay, I want to do that as soon as possible. Those tags are a security component that I think is sorely needed in the city of College Park, and I think it's going to bring crime down to record lows if it's implemented the right way. These are new proactive steps that we're taking to improve things in this city, and I think it can be a very, very effective tool if we implement it right, and I know, Chief, you're going to lead the charge on that, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to, Dr. Emmanuel, I give you my Ward Street resurfacing. I drove one of them today, and I looked at it, and I'll give you the streets maybe tomorrow. If not, if the latest, the next day. What else did we talk about here? Mileage reimbursement. Now, before I went to the county commission, the council members receive standard mileage reimbursement just like anybody else receives mileage reimbursement. But at some point or another, apparently we stopped receiving that given a certain distance or whatever have you. You know, folks, we don't get an actual salary, so to speak. You know, we get a stipend up here, but we're pretty much semi-volunteers up here. Now, we get that stipend for 2 meetings a month, and the rest are free, and it's a whole lot of free. We want to make sure that we're entitled out there to mileage reimbursement, just like anyone else. And that doesn't mean within the city, but when we have to travel outside of the city, we need to get reimbursed too. Because gas cost us as well, so we want to make sure that that happens. A couple other things I did have. We touched on some things that we want to make sure our residents have and haven't had before. I guess we don't have a CP motto, so to speak. I mean, we're the Global Gateway Center, but I've heard different mottos we have and have: a city on the move, and the community we deserve. And I don't know exactly what that means, but there are too many of our residents that have not been getting what they deserve. Now, some of them are. I got my own personal motto for this city, especially for 2024, and that is: we serve our residents first. I'm going to say it again. We serve our residents first. In business, they say the customer's always right. And there is only one number one customer in this community, and that's the residents. We serve them first. City manager, we are going to have to operate this city's departments on the basis of one sole purpose and one purpose only: to provide our residents with the best services that we can at the lowest amount of tax dollar that we can, period. There's some areas in our city that are doing pretty well, and you'd be proud to live in them. But there's some other areas that are mismatched and, to be frank, misdirected. I think that everyone that works here, starting this year, if you're not reaching out to our residents each and every day with services they need in one way or another, either directly or indirectly, with the programming they want, if you're not accommodating our residents, then that's going to be a problem this year. And I'm not just talking to staff, I'm talking to all of us. We have got to double our efforts, everyone up here and everyone out there. I want these entire departments obsessed with serving the customer first. A couple other things I had. We talked about parks and recreation. Michelle, a couple of things I do have I wanted to touch on. Parks and recreation, it's an important program. We've got rec programs here that are better than some in other cities, but at the same time, we do need some tweaks and some changes to these programs. And I think we all want to see better services to our residents first. Now, the biggest issue I have, and it's no fault of your own necessarily, but we seem to end up outside of our residents for parks and rec attendance and programming because we don't know how to reach our kids. And the reason why I believe that's true is because our kids largely don't participate in parks and rec. When you have 80 to 85% of our participants that do not live in College Park that are enjoying College Park recreation, and only 15% or so of our children that do participate in College Park recreation, something is amiss. Something is mismatched, like I said earlier. And that would be with any department. Our fire department, it does a great job with us. Our police department is great. But if we told residents, hey, that police department we got, they're great, but 85% of our calls, we cover Sandy Springs, and 15% of our police services go to the city of College Park. Well, the average resident might have a little problem with that. And there's nothing wrong with serving Sandy Springs. That's great for them, but not at our residents' tax-paying dollars. We have to serve our residents first. Michelle, I want us to make some concerted effort to flip those numbers around. And not only that, the bigger issue is that a lot of our children cannot afford parks and recreation programs. But we all made a commitment to serve our residents first, and we're going to continue that commitment. And I am proposing that we look at eliminating the financial burden for parks and rec programming for any family in this community that makes $50,000 or less in income. I want those programs free for our children, and I know we can make it happen, and we're going to make it happen. And I'm making a motion to that effect. Now, we'll sit down and get the particulars together, city manager, city attorney, in terms of what we can do. But we want to provide services to our children, our community, based on their perspective, based on financially with what they're dealing with. And we've got to take a look at this thing from other perspectives. We call it Recreation and Cultural Affairs. And it's a good title when we retitled it. But sometimes I ask myself this question, whose culture are we asking about? Whose affairs are we asking about? I want to see us out in these communities knocking on doors, talking to these parents and children about the type of programming they want to see. And what would it take to get them into our community facilities? And what kind of services in terms of park and rec they want to see? But I want us to take that inquiry and take that homework and listen to them from our residents' perspective, from their point of view, from their socioeconomic situation, from the way they see that things ought to be in terms of providing something for their kids that nourishes them and covers them. I want to see the after-school care and the different things that parents are asking about. And we're going to reconfigure things to provide for those that are most in need of these parks and recreation services. Now, our doors are not closed to parks and recreation, but it's slightly closed in a lot of ways, and I'm not just talking financially. So I want to see a lot of changes in parks and rec, and we're going to make those changes. But I am, city attorney, making the motion in terms of parks and recreation programs and fees, free of charge for all residents in households at $50,000 or less. We're going to wipe those fees away. Now, that does not mean total equipment and the whole nine, but Michelle, I want us to sit down and we're going to put together a structure, a program, and restructure things to cater to our community and to serving our residents first. Nothing against our out-of-town residents that enjoy the programming. I'm glad we do. But my obligation is to the residents first and foremost, above anybody else. And we're going to make it policy. So I'm making that motion.
To the city attorney?
To you, and the city attorney, and the city manager, and to the council.
So the motion is?
So, Madam Clerk?
The motion I have is for free programming for households that make $50,000 or less for recreation.
Citywide.
Is there a second?
With discussion, second.
Thank you, Councilmember Gay. We'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
I would want to yield to Councilmember Gay.
The only question I have, Councilmember Carr, is that for College Park? Is that for just College Park?
Oh, College Park
It's
residents.
not in your motion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you add that to your motion?
For College Park residents, of course.
That's all
Yes.
I have.
I'll turn over the presiding duties to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Madam Clerk, can you repeat the motion, please?
Yes, sir. The motion is free programming for College Park residents for households who make less than $50,000 citywide.
Mayor, turn it back to you.
And I'll turn it back to you because I wish to comment.
We're gonna go through this every time.
So we have a motion and a second. All in
And then
favor?
I'd like to discuss.
Oh, there is more discussion, Mayor.
Thank you. Whose responsibility is it to set the framework for this and ensure that families are meeting the income standards? And do we have an understanding of what that impact would be if every family within the city of College Park who makes $50,000 or less, what that impact would be to the recreation department? I'm just asking those questions.
Well, one thing I would suggest, City Manager, is that we put together a task force to study the issue, assess things, figure out how we would go with procedure. Obviously, this is a reconfiguration of Parks and Rec in a sense, not a total reconfiguration. But one thing I do know, the staff is up to the task, and that's what I think we want to do, and that's why we have expert staff to handle and figure out how we get there.
All right, Mr. Hawthorne, I have a question for you. Have you had the opportunity to develop this type of program or participate in developing this type of program in another community?
Yes. While I'm not prepared to comment in detail on this motion as presented, and I have to tell you, there are a lot of things that even the council has acted upon tonight that staff has been caught by surprise. And that does concern me going forward. This is the way that we're going to conduct business. Now, with that said, this is an issue that I've discussed with Councilman Karn previously. And one of the things that has surprised me about our structure that I am used to in other places, and Councilman Karn is right, we have a high level of participation in our programs by non-residents. And I was very struck when I learned that there's no distinction in the fees that are charged. So the essence of this issue is one that we can certainly study, that would require some restructuring. And I think with this hopefully amended motion, that it will give staff a chance to come back and present impacts and scenarios. But we would be prepared to undertake that study, but it would take some time, and I would suggest that that could be a part of the overall review of the budget that's coming with of the new budgeting process that we've already begun.
Are you still Mayor Pro Tem?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. My motion still stands. With staff development, I know it's something that we can do. Yes, it's a challenge. Well, this is going to be a challenging year. And I know all of our staff is up for the challenge, because I know we certainly are. And we are very excited about moving forward and providing more services for this community, and that's what I'm going to work to intend to do. I would like implementation of this at the latest May. Again, that's another top priority. And I want us to get moving on it. I don't want a day to go by that we're not working on this stuff. We're going to improve this city. And we're raising the bar.
Mayor Pro Tem, may I?
Yes.
I definitely like the concept of providing discounted or no cost programming in our recreation facilities for families that are not able to do it financially. I think, is it the number? I don't know. Did you say it was 85% of our persons that are?
I've gotten 80 to 85% from staff.
Oh, okay. So we don't have enough participation from our residents in the city. I think that if we made this affordable or we made it attainable, specifically for myself as the council representative for Ward 1, I have some of the most wealthy persons that live in this city that can afford it. And then I have some of the persons that don't have the economic means. They're just totally strapped. And I think this would afford a wonderful opportunity to get our youth to provide alternatives for them. So I do like the concept. I do understand what city manager is saying. This has just been brought out to staff. I believe it's attainable, but I do also believe that it is going to require some planning. So I'm in favor of it, Councilman Carn. However, I do understand that, this is something that's going to have to be worked on, such as what the mayor has already said. There are some questions and there's some ways that we have to attack this. So I will vote when my time comes, but I think it's great, but I also believe that it is going to be something we're going to be thoughtful and plan it well, and also look at our budget as well, what that's going to cost. So that's all.
Mayor, comments?
No further comments.
Councilwoman Arnold, comments?
I was beginning to believe that it was never coming to me. Yes, of course I have comments.
I'm sorry.
First, thank you, Councilman Carn, for bringing this up. I think that it's very important that we have something in place for families in College Park. Whether it's a sliding scale, whether it's free, we need to do something. And so I do support it. I do think that we need to do our research on it to see what type of impact it's going to have. But we don't just need to do it for the programming, for recreational programs. We need to think about before and after school programs too.
It's part of it.
I mean, we need to think about the fact that we have families that are suffering and children that need a safety net. And so I'm looking forward to seeing, what comes out of this impact study, along with the fact that, Councilman Carn says May. I mean, I want to be a little more aggressive than that. May is a bit late when you're trying to register kids for summer camp.
All right. April.
Registration starts in February. If you know what I know. If you have kids right now in school, parents are looking to register kids right now for summer programs. By the time May gets here, it's too late.
Okay. That's true.
So I understand that it's difficult, that we need to study it, that we don't know what type of impact it's going to have, but we spend money on other stuff, and nobody questions it. So why wouldn't we want to do what's best for our citizens? We do it for others. So I'm asking for a more aggressive timeline.
Would you like to change your motion, sir, to add an aggressive timeline?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
What is your motion?
My motion is, again, we're going to implement a policy for Parks and Rec programs and other services under Cultural Affairs. We want to reduce charges for it. We want to make it free of charge. The goal is to make services free of charge for residents that have a household income that are at $50,000 and under. We want an aggressive timeline. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, but we're going to do it hard, and we're going to get it done. And I want everybody in this city to roll up their sleeves, and we're going to make it happen together.
Councilwoman Arnold?
I do have an additional comment. Maybe it's that we start small. Maybe we don't have it for everyone. Maybe we have so many slots. Maybe it's like a lottery program. I don't know. But we need to start somewhere.
Well, we'll figure out the structure, but we need to move forward.
All right,
Mr. Pro Tem?
let's, for the clerk's sake, let's repeat the motion one more time, please.
Clerk, can you read the motion we got right now?
I can read what I believe it is. The motion is to implement a policy for recreation to create a free program for College Park residents to participate in recreation and cultural arts activities who have a household income of $50,000 or less. This is for immediate, aggressive implementation.
Is there a second?
Second. Oh, I made the motion, I'm sorry. I can't second my own motion.
Second. Motion.
It was
Ma'am?
already,
It was,
Clark,
I
Councilman
thought he
Clark.
amended the motion.
Can he vote? How do we?
Well, we amended it with.
Okay.
with
We're making
everything that you read.
We're doing a motion on the amended motion. So you saying
Okay,
that
so I
wasn't?
believe he has to withdraw the initial.
I withdraw my previous motion and motion for the amended motion that
Okay.
the clerk just read.
And that was Councilman Carn and seconded by
Arnold.
Councilman Arnold. Got it?
Mr. Chair, I have discussion.
Discussion? Mayor?
I concur with Councilmember Arnold in wanting to, I think all of us concur about trying to make sure that we are doing more for those who are least able to afford recreational services in our community. My concern is that we rush into a policy and then that policy gets abused. So as long as we are doing something because if we've set this income ceiling, then who verifies it? Are people bringing in their tax returns? How is this all coming together? And we also know that people get IDs that have College Park listed, but they don't live in the city limits. So is that up to recreation staff to then confirm that if that goes sideways and someone says, I live in the city of College Park, and yet they really don't live within our boundaries? I just want to make sure that the policies that we set forth are ones that support this program and make it successful.
Amen.
Mayor Pro Tem, and I think, okay.
Excuse me, we're gonna go this way.
Okay. So you're going from Arnold to, okay. That's fine, I can hold it.
Discussion?
I don't disagree with what the mayor just said, not at all. But I think that we have very capable, smart, intelligent staff members that can make it happen.
Mayor,
Councilwoman, I'm still a councilwoman.
McKenzie.
I also think that, how do we verify person's residence in College Park? Utility bill, driver's license. So like I said, I'm back to what Councilwoman Arnold has said to us, that we have capable staff. I'm sure that we will find a way to do this. We did it with the utility program when we were assisting persons with their bills. We found a way to do that verification. We'll find a way to verify. I think the bottom line is not necessarily, we don't want to have abuse, but I think really what we're looking at, and it's always going to be for somebody that finds a way to get around something, but we can't focus on the exception. Let's focus on the rule. Let's focus on the majority of families, the youth that are going to be saved because they will have somewhere to go after school. That those persons that may have thought that they can't do anything in life, but you know, I was one of those kids that I did ballet. I told Councilwoman Arnold the other day, I did ballet, I did tap, I was in art, I was in music, all these things outside of school. And look at me now. I'm just I don't know what I want to do, but those things exposed me, and I think that's what we're going to be offering. We're going to be offering exposure and alternatives, and if you get a couple of people that violate the system, you know, that's going to be on them and their conscience. But I think that we have the capability here to do this, to make it a priority, and hopefully this will even cut down on crime in our city over the summer months, because our youth will be involved in focused projects that can lead to career options.
Last thing, I'll say. It's going to be a combination of verifications, Mayor, with multiple departments working together and not operating in silos. I think ultimately we're not going to have abuse. I think we're going to have a grateful community. That's what we're going to have. And we're going to put well thought out, rock solid parameters in place to make sure this goes as advertised. And staff is going to make it their business, and city manager, to make sure that that happens.
Any more discussion?
No, sir.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
I had one last comment. Brecker, just real quick.
Yes, sir.
Federal lobbyist trip. I know we want to try to coordinate with everybody for that, and we're working towards that. So just a reminder, make sure we're talking to everybody so we can figure out, because we were talking about one a day and then going up for NLC and so on and so forth. So we got to try to figure that out, but let's make sure everybody's working to figure that out and make sure that the council's covered in terms of the best way to do it with the Ferguson group. All right, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
So I wanted to take a moment to first say that I absolutely enjoyed participating in the Wild Hog event, even though I don't eat hog. None of it. But it was an opportunity to meet other city representatives, meet state representatives, and to also continue to learn more about my colleagues. That, along with the participation in the parade on yesterday for Martin Luther King, along with some of the other activities that we've done in the community. But I want to continue to remind people as a whole that what you see before you is approximately 130 years of change. We made change. You have history sitting right here in front of you. This is a historic moment. And we should celebrate that right before you, here with mayor and council. We've made history. We've made change. And we should do everything from this point forward to celebrate the history that we've made as a body. We should document the history that we've made as a body. When we were out representing our city this weekend, it was concerning to me that we didn't have anyone to document the history of mayor and council out representing our city. 50, 100 years from now, someone is going to be studying College Park. They are going to want to know what this body did to affect their lives. Now, I'm not sure, who is responsible for documenting this, whether or not if it's our communications department, if it's our historical society. But let's not forget that as we sit here as a body, we are making history. And when I say operating in excellence, excellence means that we have someone documenting our history, reminding us of the changes that have come before the people. The people made this change. We're just here to represent them. And we should never forget that. Over the past 16 days, it has definitely been a learning experience. I am still learning about the processes and the procedures that we have here in the city, and I'm going to continue to learn. But, just in 16 days, I do see opportunities that we can leverage, technology that we can leverage. It warmed my heart to hear that, we are utilizing tablets. Everybody's using a tablet now. But what else can we do with technology? What else can we do for the community in leveraging technology? Do we have access points in all of our recreation centers? I mean, we ask people to go online and to register for different activities, to go online and apply for this and that and the other. But someone mentioned earlier, do we think about the fact that everyone does not have access to the internet? Do we provide access for them? Are we operating in excellence when we don't provide those services? Just something to think about. I envision Godby Road. Godby Road is a high priority to me because I once lived in a community like Godby Road, raising children. So it's important to me that we see pedestrian crosswalks at every apartment complex on Godby Road. We should not have residents living on that corridor without a safe way to cross, to catch the bus, to get to the recreation center, to get to the daycare, whatever else they need to do. So I would like to see us make some type of commitments and changes within the budget to have crosswalks at every entrance, at the apartments on Godby Road, Southampton. I like those crosswalks to look just like the ones that are at the intersection of Virginia and, is that Adams?
Adams.
Yeah. They need the flashing cautionary lights. We need to make sure that we provide the services on Godby Road like we do on Virginia Avenue. I've already mentioned that I'd like to see us leverage technology, but I'd like us to leverage technology in a way where it makes life easy for our staff. I'm sure we have cloud-based applications that'll roll up to snapshots of data and dashboards that should be readily available to the mayor and council. It shouldn't take staff to work long hours to generate reports, to answer questions that we have. We should already have these things in place where we can leverage it ourselves and not put the extra burden on staff. And so, I envision that for us as a city. And I also envision some of the things that we've already mentioned as far as having extra programming for our children and our families. And one of the major things that I envision when we would leverage our technology in the future is a way that we, the council, can participate in the development of the agenda. I asked this question earlier this week, and I thank everyone who participated in responding to the questions that I had about the agenda. But I think that there's just a missing piece to it, right? Right now, the agenda looks like it's put together based on recommendations from staff. But what about the projects and initiatives that council has? You know, I know we can email and add things, but that gets to be chaotic and counterproductive. Maybe we can come up with some mechanism in some way to include inside of our agenda, like what ward is this particular agenda item impacting? Is it budgeted, yes or no? It doesn't have to go through this long soliloquy of, you know, we thought about and we need an amendment. No, just yes or no is budgeted. So that when we get here and we make decisions, we know what's going to impact the residents in our wards, our constituents. If it's not for our particular ward, if it's for the entire city, that's fine. We can notate that too. But there are some things that I think that we can leverage to start to operate administratively in excellence. So those are my comments as far as the things that I've learned so far. Of course, like I mentioned before, that I'm going to continue to learn, but I do want to go ahead and make a couple of shout outs. It was nice to participate in Push Push.
Yes.
I agree with Councilwoman McKenzie with her comments of, I would love for us to do a better job in communicating these events. It was well attended. I wish that we had more of our residents that were there, especially the residents of Ward 3. We had no idea that it was happening. When we have other businesses and events that are happening in the community, let's do a better job in sharing that information with our residents. It's not always good to put it, again, on Facebook, social media. Some people don't even have social media. So can we come up with a process where we send something? It doesn't necessarily have to be in the bill, but you know, we each have our own list of emails that we're collecting to send out communications to our residents, our constituents. But we can't send information that we don't have.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
you know, I would like for us to do really a better job at making sure that we receive the information and then we recognize those that are in our communities doing big and great things. So shout out to Push Push. We had a great time. I'm looking forward to the grand opening, and I'm looking forward to any other businesses, activities that are coming to our community in the future. And I want to close with, you know, me being extremely excited about launching my new website for Ward 3. I think it's the first time that we've had a Ward 3 website. And the website address is www.cpward3, that's the number 3.com. www.cpward3.com. And I'm encouraging all of the residents of Ward 3 to subscribe to the newsletter so that you can stay informed with the information that I know, right? I have to know it in order to share it with you. And also to share your thoughts of what you want to see happen in Ward 3 and how I can better assist and advocate for you. Thank you.
Okay, it's my time. First off, this be very difficult to follow all y'all. Y'all's comments tonight were amazing, thoughtful, and I'm sure it further shows the community that this is a council that is able to continue continue to carry our city to great places. So I'm just gonna go through mine real quick. Speaking of community concerns, I was looking at the 10-day weather report. I don't think it's gonna get higher till next Thursday to 50. I would like for us to not cut off anybody until at least 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know we're gonna occur some late charges or whatever, but it just, nobody needs to be cut off if we can manage that. We did it in COVID, so I think we could do it again. The second thing is that we allowed Fulton County to create the Promise Academy, and I thought that one of the commitments was that they were going to let our constituents know ahead of time about enrollment. I haven't verified it, but it's my understanding that they've already reached out to county at large, and I thought because I remember being in your subdivision and one of your constituents extremely excited that his son could go there. So I want to make sure that we slow down their process and let Dr. Jarrett and others know that we need to sit down a way that our kids can, parents can talk about enrollment at the Promise Academy, our College Park high schools. So, City Manager, I guess you'll take that lead, and Ms. Bria Carter. This, third thing is, I don't think this is something we can do, but when you was talking about the legislative agenda, there is an issue that I was confronted with. I don't know if we as a city can direct this to our legislators, but you ever got I don't know if anybody ever had expired insurance. This happened to one of my constituents' son. He was driving a car that the registration was canceled, but he didn't know that. So it wasn't his car. He was just driving. So we stopped him, or somebody stopped him, and he went to court. And I learned when we went there, because I went there with him, there's nothing that we have to make the Georgia Department of Motor Vehicles send suspension letters certified. You gotta take their word for it. And there's nothing you can do in court. So I would like for somebody to have a conversation with our legislators to see if state agencies can send out notices certified. I know the county, and I know county courts have adopted it. They used to didn't do it, but you go to court now and tell the judge you didn't get it, she gonna show you where it was sent certified. So I would love for us, if we could talk to our legislators about that. The next thing is that, City Manager, I would like to do an intergovernmental agreement with One Talent. Now, One Talent is next door at Club E. That's a nonprofit, 501c3, that's been over there for 8 years. That's Joanne, and the lady who used to be the principal of McLaren is on her board, and her daughter's a CPA, to administer a grant. As part of their tax exemption, they have an educational purpose. I understand from the city manager there is no gratuity issues. I want to immediately enter into an IGA with them. They'll come over here and show you their IRS documentations and get these small grants out to get them this money. It's $8,000 that this body agreed on to administer by One Talent. We also agreed to pay, outside of the amended budget, a lot camera. I would like a date certain when we're gonna get that camera. You know, it's funny to see, I go to racetrack and we got a camera up there, and then I go and see we got a dummy camera when we got a lot camera so we need to get our lot camera ordered, please. We need to know date certain when the speed humps are gonna be installed that this body agreed on. We need a date certain date. We need to go back and revisit White City Road. White City, as y'all may not know, turns into Ward 4. It starts off in City of South Fulton, and then it turns into Ward 4. But there is open air prostitution. and they come to our streets, and in years past, our police have coordinated with City of South Fulton to do arrests. But what I will tell you is that this activity stems from just one or two houses. We might also need to have our representative talk with the district attorney's office. I think we have a DA that, we used to have a DA that focused on certain municipal offenses, so we need to get our DA involved. We need to get Chief Meadows involved. Code enforcement might need to shut those houses down. It's just one or two houses, and it's not even that many participants, but it's enough, it's annoying enough that it's disrespectful for that activity to take place in our community, especially where our elderly live. So we want to deal with that immediately. I don't just have a few other. I talked to Dr. Mang, and thank you for you taking your time to reach out to GDOT. If you anybody have been on Herschel Road at 29, when you're at Herschel and 29, that area has just been demolished by tractor trailers. And that's GDOT. So when we pay Herschel, but somebody forgot to involve GDOT, that corridor needs to be repaid. Somebody need to get GDOT involved and have them come out here. And I know, Dr. Mann, you've been working on it, but maybe you can get with your engineer and y'all work on this collaboratively to get that apron paved. I think I just about, okay, I just had a comment. This is just a comment that you absolutely need green space for the development of children. You absolutely. And the last thing I'll tell you is that, you know, the reason why you can't afford to live around Piedmont Park is because of the park. You see, green space, believe it or not, is more economic than brick and mortar. If that wasn't true, why do you think the Beltline was used by that young man at Georgia Tech? He used the Beltline as a green space partnership to develop the economics. So people start buying houses on the Beltline. So this was a clever play. So anytime our city can look at an opportunity to develop parks and green space, that's only more positive. So I would throw this out. We ought to maybe look at an IGA with some of the property owners over there, particularly the Target. Because green space is economic, and Target connects both sides of Garvey. And they can also, maybe we could easily look at taking out Sierra Leone. Just throwing that out as a potential green space park. So that's all I have, Mayor. I think you've given your comments already?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So are you now, I'm getting back to the mayor.
I have the gavel back because you can't talk. Can't talk while you're presiding. So, is there, ma'am,
are you?
Is there a motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of discussion of litigation and personnel?
City Manager, just one reminder for the next week or so. Let's remind folks to wrap their exterior pipes to help prevent that. I wrapped mine this afternoon, and I'm gonna leave them wrapped for the remainder of the week. The exterior, spigots, you wrap those. It's just FYI. We want to try to avoid pipe bursting as much as we can.
Is there a motion to enter into executive session for
So
the
moved,
purposes of
Mayor.
discussion of litigation and personnel?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember McKenzie. Is there a second? Thank you, Councilmember Arnold. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going into executive session at 10:31 p.m.